I'm here to tell you that acne can be banished forever and without drugs or harsh peroxides. Knowledge is power. Welcome to the premiere opening of Capturing the Concept.
Let's go back to where it all started 40 years ago with acne. Now, my own experience with acne is what set the whole pace for many, many decades of skin revision.
Back then, I remember feeling so horribly ugly. It was so bad that I used to put on this salve. It was very popular acne medication over the counter in those days, kind of pinkish, and it dried out. And I would put it on like full makeup to cover all of my bumps and zits and everything else. And I was afraid to even smile because it would crack, and then of course the kids would laugh at me and call me the death mask kid.
And I went to all the most expensive dermatologists, and they did everything, and nothing would.
Prescription drugs. In fact, one of them told me to cleanse my face 3 or 4 times a day with ivory soap. And now, ivory soap is a good soap, but it was an alkaline, and that made it even worse, even chemically. So, kind of in despair, and I was an amateur chemist, I remember. I was always using Gilbert chemistry sets to make all kinds of things that practically blew up the house, and sort of noxious perfumes for my poor mother, who bravely wore them. I was always studying about enzymes and plant life and botanics, and I kind of made my own treatments, changed my diet, changed my lifestyle, never looking at myself in the mirror, as I said. And what I didn't realize is that changes were taking place.
I had a happy ending when I was 18. I was up in Vancouver, British Columbia, with a bunch of other kids at a summer conference, and we were at the beach in English Bay. And I remember I had this little brown and yellow, or brown and orange bathing suit on. And I was laying all by myself in the sand, as usual, afraid to talk to anybody.
And I wanted a soft drink, so I went up to the nearest hotel, and I walked in the door, and then all of a sudden, walking towards me was this handsome young man with flawless skin on his face, great body, and muscles, everything. But he was wearing my bathing suit, exact same bathing suit. And I remember thinking, gee, I wished I looked like that. If I could only look like that, my whole life would be great.
I suddenly realized that I was looking at a floor-to-ceiling mirror at the end of a hallway.
Suddenly, I just became like a nutcase. I was posing and laughing and showing my muscles, and the lady behind the concession counter thought I was, a complete loony. And my whole persona completely changed for that moment, and I sort of bloomed like a rose. Actually, I became quite insufferable. And after the Vancouver incident, what went into my mind at that time was, if you change a skin, you do change a life. All right, let's go forward in time a little bit to London, England. A young man who had terrible, terrible acne, probably like I did. And he went on drugs. He went on a lot of acne drugs, but principally the drug Roaccutane, or as it's known in the United States of America, Accutane. Now, I'm not a big believer in drugs all the time for skin revision, but particularly this one. Roaccutane, or Accutane, is not chemically addictive, but is psychologically addictive. Because once these kids get on it, they're stuck with it. They're afraid that they won't get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or they'll be socially unacceptable, because it really does dry up the sebaceous glands, and of course everything disappears for a while. But it does a lot of other little things too. Now, the contraindications are listed on the drug. It's a mile long. It tells absolutely every possible thing that could happen. And that's what it's supposed to do. But these kids aren't going to read all that. And once their doctor hands them a prescription, and they see everything kind of vanishing overnight temporarily, they are afraid to not take it. And therein lies the psychological addiction. After battling acne for many, many years, he fell into a deep despair, had all kinds of depressions, and then one day he killed himself. He jumped off a cliff. And he left behind an email for his father, who happened to be connected to the BBC, telling him in detail his battle and his problems, most of them related to the drugs he was taking, especially this particular one.
The BBC decided to do a documentary on kids with this problem and the drug and everything else involved, and it was called Dying for Clear Skin. It was an incredible, incredible docudrama.
Now on the flip side of this is a happy story of another young English lad by the name of Will, 15 years old. Will persuaded his parents to let him go for treatment, and he went to the DMK clinic on Harley Street under the direction of Suzanne Williams, who is the educational director and also the head of the clinic. And Suzanne is also a member of the Royal Academy of Medicine. So let's take a look at Will's story on capturing the concept.
I started suffering about 2 years ago, and it started out mild and it progressed over the last 2 years. It's got worse and worse, and it got to the point where it was severe, really severe cystic acne, and it just changed my life, changed my usual self. I wasn't me anymore. You know, I wouldn't look at people in the eye. I'd stop, making conversation with people. I'd get to a point where I wouldn't even talk to my mum and dad, or look at my close friends or anything like that. Lots of people have reached out. I'd get a few messages each night, or emails, Facebook messages, or from every single website I can think of that I've got. People will inbox me giant messages, ask me, what can I do? It makes me feel like this, or you're an inspiration and stuff like that. It's just there's this whole party of people that suffer in silence, and they're all sort of coming out from under the woodwork.
How does it make you feel? You're representing a lot of people out there with different skin complaints, aren't you now?
It makes me feel pretty good, actually. I quite enjoy helping people out.
You've been on quite a big journey. What would be your advice to other people out there?
Well, number one would be that you're not alone. That's one thing. Number two would be not to keep it locked up. Talk to people about it. Talk to your family about it. Talk to your friends about it. You'll get a different response than what you think. From your friends and family, they're there to support you, and they will support you. And the more you're open about it, the better you feel inside about it, and the more you can accept yourself, and people around you will accept you more, and they can help you out. Yeah, and thirdly, it'd be that there's a way out of it. There is treatment can be done. I'm in London, Harley Street, at the DMK clinic, and it's my final treatment of the series.
Let's go and check it out, shall we?
This is the first part of the treatment. I'm just cleansing Will's skin. It'll go on the face, also on the chest and neck. This is when we're applying 3 products mixed together. One of them is called Prozyme, and that is a meat eater. It's an enzyme. Everything that's dead within the skin is going to be devoured by this Prozyme, and then the other products that we've got on, the other acids, they're going to pop off any other dead skin cells. And Danne is really famous for these enzymes. They do miraculous things. Quite wet one, and softening the enzymes up so they start to melt down and release from the skin. We're just removing the enzymes from the face. They will take a few minutes to really dissolve. When you've had the enzymes on for 45 minutes, like Will has just done, it's a lovely release when they start to come off. I'm going to start to rebuild the skin now. And because we're constantly attacked by free radicals, it'll get rid of any damage that we just get on a daily basis, even if we haven't got a particular problem with our skin. It just keeps it stronger. It strengthens a thing called the Langerhans cells, which are very important to us. And it's a fantastic healer, calms things down. I'm just going to finish off now with some nutritional cream. Well, the treatment is completely finished now. I've rebuilt his skin, given his skin lots of nutrition, amino acids, proteins, vitamins, all the things that we need to rebuild to have a healthy skin.
It was relaxing, usual good results every time.
It's the final one of your first course of treatment, so are you really pleased with how